Hi, welcome to my vlog. I'm talking about my fantasy films and how the genre's changed over 30 years through the films I've chosen. For me, out of this film, which was filmed in the 80s, I've chosen The Dark Crystal. It's a film where they use costumes and like puppets, but yeah, like they use a lot of them, and they use kind of the same camera angles as it does in my other film, which is Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. They use them out of the same angles and pretty much the same sound, same lighting, same camera angles, but in the scenes I've chosen, which I'll show you now for both of them, as you can see in the Pirates of the Caribbean, it's a lot darker and a lot more mysterious and scary. So the lighting that they've done, they've tried to interpret the lighting of the moon, so it makes the scene seem more like horrifying. And in the Dark Crystal, which you'll see now, it's really light, and like there's lights all around, so you can see everything. There's a load of different types of camera angles, like an angle in Pirates of the Caribbean, which is a POV shot of where she's looking up towards the moon, and they don't use that in the Dark Crystal. They didn't use that. So I find that that's something new that they've added into the fantasy. For the Dark Crystal, the mise-en-scène is kind of similar to the current fantasy films today, like with the mysterious creatures and whatnot. Only then they used costumes which people dressed up in. They used, like as I said before, puppets. Whereas in the Pirates of the Caribbean, they use a lot of like 1700 stuff instead of mythical. So that's around the age of piracy. So there's a lot of old clothing, like big bulky dresses and all that girly stuff. The cinematography for Pirates of the Caribbean is, as I said before, it is similar. Like they do use the same angles, like reverse shot, reverse shot, and they also use something new, which is the POV, which I also discussed. But they use a lot of like low above shots where they're looking up at stuff, and a lot of wide shot where you can see like the whole crew. During the scene of Pirates of the Caribbean, there's many different sounds you'll hear at the same time, like the squeaking of the mast and the waving of the sails.
The moonlight shows us for what we really are. We are not among the living, and so we cannot die, but neither are we dead. For too long I've been parched of thirst and unable to quench it. Too long I've been starving to death.
The sea, the sound of the sea, is just the same. Like you can hear it, but not as more as the conversation, the dialogue between the two protagonists.
We are not among the living, and so
diegetic and non-diegetic, diegetic and non-diegetic sound.
Which sounds ran in beforehand, which one's ran in post-production?
Yeah, that one. Just in case you didn't hear that, diegetic and non-diegetic sound is, diegetic is within the filming and non-diegetic is added during the editing.
Believe in ghost stories, Miss Turner. You're in one.
Which sounds were which?
Huh?
Which sounds you just said?
Oh, like the mast, the creaking of the mast and the sails in the sea. That was all added afterwards because that scene was CGI'd. Back to the Dark Crystal. During the scene in the Dark Crystal, there's many different sounds recorded at different levels of intensity. For example, like you can hear the roaring of the crowd. Like you can hear them and you can see them making the sound also. I'm not sure if that. I think that'd be non-diegetic. I think that was added during the edit because, as I said before, there was all puppets, so some camera angles have changed for the fantasy genre, like the POV shot. They didn't have that in the Dark Crystal. They had it in Pirates of the Caribbean. The comparison of the two films is the editing techniques are quite similar, besides the CGI of the Pirates of the Caribbean. But for an 80s film, I think that was like made during its time, if you know what I mean. Like, it wasn't too advanced and it wasn't too old, if that back for back then. But yeah, they have a lot of things in common, like the sounds. Like, there's a lot of background sound in both of them. That's it. Thank you for listening, and see you next time.